Hey, everybody, and welcome to Crushing Land for this week. Coming to you live today from the home office, and just going to chat a little bit about the current financial situation that's out there, what it means, what opportunity it presents, a lot of different things. And so, for those of you who are in our group, in our Facebook group, or if you just follow me on Facebook, I actually made some posts yesterday and it was regarding this situation, what's going on with mortgage rates and things like that. But before we get to mortgage rates, we'll just talk a little bit about finances in general. Bottom line is, when it comes to for those who are investing in crypto, it's basically non-existent right now. Now, if you got in really early in the game with that, you may still be ahead. Obviously, it can still bounce back. Time will tell with that. We'll see where it goes. The stock market, as of last week, bear market for 2022. So it's down 20%. That's what that turns into. Now, does that mean that all stocks are bad? No, it's the market in general. And so, again, I have some stocks that I've invested in and have made money on in just the last few weeks because of, looking at things the right way and things like that. So the point is that it's just overall that we're looking at these things. We're not looking, everybody always is going to come in and be like, I made X doing, okay, great. And that's what you should be doing, honestly. That's the way to handle these type of markets. But we're just talking about generalities and where things are as a whole. Real estate, what's going on with real estate? People are freaking out. I've heard it a lot from different ones. Interest rates, right? They're very concerned about interest rates and the rate hike and all of that. The thing I'm going to say about that is if you look at things, I showed a chart about this in the group, and I showed a chart on my personal page, and you can go there and look at it. If you go follow me, you go to Land Method Group, anything like that, you'll see it. But if you look at basically just the last year and a half, from 2021, January 2021 till now, you're going to be disappointed. You're going to see interest rates that do this, right? The average interest rate in 2021 was under 3%. Under 3%. That's for a mortgage, 30-year. So 30-year mortgage, under 3%. And now you're sitting there and you're like, man, it's up pushing 6. This is crazy. It's over the top. But what you really need to do is step back a little bit, and you need to look at things historically. From 1971, we're going 50 years now, from 1971 until 2009, with the very, very little exception, and it's just a light drop of some stuff in the early 2000s, interest rates never went below 6%, never. In fact, they were floating for the vast majority of that, they were over 8%. In fact, from basically the early mid-70s until right through like the early 2000s, it was like up over 8. I'm sorry. So it just helps you to appreciate that if you look at things over like a 50-year window here, this is what you're seeing. It's been going down with interest rates. So we're actually still with our interest rates well below the historical average. Historical average for interest rates is just under 8%. So we're actually still quite a bit below that. So 6%, high 5-6% is not a bad interest rate for buying a house. What it does mean is that you don't have as much buying power. To me, that just means that if people that are freaking out and like over leverage themselves, and they bought a house for like every penny that they could scrape with with the interest rate that they could get it in the 2s and all of these things, and the market was high and all of that, and they're freaking out. It's like, I'm sorry, but you really have nobody to blame but yourself, because you over leveraged. You took every single option that you had, the lowest interest rates you could get, putting down like next to nothing on the house, 5% in a lot of cases, maybe less than that depending on what the what kind of terms you have, things like that, but maybe 5%, maybe 10. Buying it at top dollar, all of these things, and squeezing out every penny you could get, and buying a house that, was going crazy, and now all of a sudden it's worth $500,000 when it should have only been worth $300,000, and it's going to drop back down. So are we going to see foreclosures? Are we going to see short sales? Are we going to see REOs? Those things come back? Yeah, absolutely. It's going to happen because of people in those circumstances. Now, it's only going to be for people that bought in that short window, though. because people that bought just relatively recently, in the last couple of years, as things start to like scale back and level off, they still have equity in their homes. So they're still, it's not going to be nearly what it was a few years ago. It shouldn't be. I mean, obviously time will tell with that, but just looking at all the things that we're looking at, everything like that, looking at all the parameters, looking at all the details, it really shouldn't be anything like what we saw in the 2008 time frame. So what opportunity does this present? Well, in real estate in general, when there's blood in the street, right, this is the time to act. But it's very interesting. The next little bit of time is going to be huge. The next little bit of time. So we're recording this, end of June 2022. And saying that the next little bit of time is going to be huge. Why the next? What do I mean by the next little bit of time? I don't know. A year, 18 months, 2 years. Time will tell with that too. But why is it going to be huge? Because we're already seeing that people that own properties are starting to get scared. They know where things are heading, and so because of that, just in the last little bit of time, we're seeing response rates jumping. We're seeing sellers. More sellers taking first offers than they are having to negotiate, things like that. So those opportunities are already starting to present themselves right now early on. On the flip side of it, there's still buyers out there. There's still cash out there. In the area that I live in, I was watching a news report just a couple of weeks ago, and they were talking about how they have a 6-month demand for housing, and they don't even have a month's supply. So that demand, it may level out, it may keep going up a little bit actually, and it may level out, and then it may start to go back down. But whatever happens, it's going to take a little bit of time. And that being said, there's still an opportunity now to be extracting cash, getting top dollar or close to it for a property. So you have buyers that are still willing to do this, but then you have sellers on the other side that are. So it's like a perfect two-edged sword for us as investors. Now, I don't invest in homes. I don't invest in houses. So what does this mean to land investors? Well, it's the same exact thing, right? Because people are seeing this and they think that, oh, their land's going to be worth this, and building is going to go through the roof, and people are going to want to pay top dollar. And then they realize, well, that's not going to happen, right? Because as the housing demand starts to decline, so will the building demand, all that, and obviously the demand for property. So they're in their minds, they're seeing those things, and that's the way they feel. So they're willing to sell these things. So there's a huge opportunity there for us as land investors. The other thing that's really huge in this that you need to remember is what's different about houses. People are going to be running into houses now, and people are going to be running out. There's going to be competition. There always is. The land competition, as the market shifts, is going to go down dramatically. It's going to be a lot less people interested in doing land. Doesn't take nearly as much capital, all of that. So that's why right now, like I said, the next couple of years, especially in all of real estate, honestly, but in land investing in particular, because of what's involved and less legwork and less people being interested, and just the mentality of people that own it, it's going to have a huge, huge, huge opportunity for us. So check out our page, thelandmethod.com, for more information on getting involved and investing in land in the future, taking advantage of this opportunity. Join our Facebook group, be part of this, because this may be something that we've seen before, but it was very short-lived as far as where that opportunity existed. And it may come again, we don't know, but this could be a once-in-a-lifetime window here for a lot of us. So again, thanks for joining in. Thanks for tuning in regularly, and we'll catch you next week with another episode of Crushing Land.